All right, everyone, so we're going to head into the Q&A segment, but today we're going to have a special reward for our winner, Stanely Steeple, who won the MISTORE EXTV challenge, winning his FIFA 19. He has a special question for Shaka Hislop. So here we go, Shaka.
Hi Shaka, my name is Trevor. I was just wondering, basically asking the question, how was it like when you were playing in the English League in front of all those fans, and were you ever nervous for your first game? Thanks.
Well, to answer your question, I was nervous for my first game, my second game. I was nervous for just about every single game in my career, which is not something that bothered me in all honesty. I think getting nervous is almost a natural reaction. It's what you do with that nervous energy, how you're able to channel that nervous energy. I think that's a big question, which, you know, for the most part, I think I've been able to challenge positively. I almost got more concerned when I wasn't nervous going into games. When something is at stake, I found I will still find myself nervous, and that's true to this day. So that wasn't an issue. Playing in front of the crowds is exciting. You know, as a matter of fact, as you got used to it, it became very much what motivated you. And I found myself at times, whether playing in different games, whether it was in the reserves or for whatever reason there wasn't a large crowd. Those are the times that the games didn't seem to matter. Those are the times that I didn't get nervous, which I didn't enjoy at all. You like the atmosphere, you like the noise, you like people shouting at you, you like everything that you do to have meaning and be punished for your mistakes and rewarded for the things that you do well. That became a big part of who I was as a player. And once you kind of come to terms with that, with playing in front of those sides of crowds.
So with that being said, it's a great question, and I can relate to his question because being a fan, I always wondered that as well. I never played in a full stadium. I played with about 60 or 70 people, and even that was a bit nerve-wracking for me. So it's always wonderful to hear from guys like yourself who have played at the biggest stages on the planet. So great question, Stanley. So we're going to head into our next question. Lawrence, let's hear question number 2.
Constantine Coney from Oregon would like to know, what does Trinidad and Tobago need to do to get its football in the 21st century?
I think the first thing that Trinidad and Tobago football has to do is have an administration that supports the growth of our football a whole lot better. Listen, I understand that the TTFA or TTFF, as it once was, inherited a lot of issues post the Jack Warner issue, but primarily in terms of the debt, which it needs to somehow get a control of. I don't think the current administration is doing a good enough job in that regard. But I feel that the head wags the tail here. And too often we've kind of felt that results on the park or the performance of the men's national team directs or dictates the strength and the position of our football. I think it's the opposite. I think the TTFA directs the strength of our football by supporting our national teams, by really investing and supporting our growth, some of which we spoke about earlier today. We also have to have a president that supports our coaches at every single level and holds them accountable when they aren't doing well enough. Again, those are the things that I just don't think we've done well enough. So to drag our football into the 21st century, we first of all have to have a 21st century administration, which I'm not sure that we have had for quite some time.
Okay, that's a wonderful question from Constantine. Let's get the next question, Lawrence.
Per Hansen from Denmark would like to know, what percentile can technology improve a player?
Technology, I think, has a role in the game, making players better. I'm not sure that technology can improve a player, certainly not at the highest level, by an awful lot. I think technology, certainly at youth level and development, can help players identify not just their strengths, but more to the point, their weaknesses, and can help them work on those weaknesses. At the highest level, at the pro level, I don't think that it makes that much of a difference. All that being said, at the highest level, the difference between the great players and the good players and the all right players isn't as pronounced as it is at the lower levels. It's oftentimes minute details. The difference between, I'm not going to use Messi or Ronaldo as an example here. I think those two are just standout players of a generation. But in general terms, the average Real Madrid player, let's say, and the average Arsenal player or the average West Ham player, there's not that much of a difference. There's a difference, but just a minute difference, and that's all that's needed at the highest level. You hear people like me, ex-pros, and maybe to a lesser extent, current pros, speak constantly of the little things that they have to do to make themselves better, to stand out, to excel. It's very small margins at that.
So essentially, you're probably saying that at a development level, that's probably the key area that it may probably be best used.
Yes, absolutely. Where I think you get the biggest bang for buck. All that being said, again, it's very small margins between players at the highest level. But the difference in those small margins means huge rewards, either in terms of results, in terms of how much you earn, in terms of what clubs you play for. Those small differences make a big difference in terms of your own professional status, as it were, as well.
All right, fair enough. So, next question, Lawrence.
Javon Charles from Morvan, right here in Trinidad and Tobago, would like to know, who is the most skillful player you have ever played with?
Oh, the most skillful player I've ever played with. Just in terms of pure skill, I don't think I've played with anybody as good as Evans Wise, just in terms of pure skill and what you can do with the ball. Evans Wise was as tricky as they come. Outside of that, you're looking at players who may be less tricky, so to speak, but more successful, more effective on the park. Players like Russell Latipi, players like Faustino Asprilla, also spring to mind as to being very skillful and very effective at what they do.
Yep, oftentimes people evaluate different things. So a very interesting choice. I remember looking at Evans Wise around the 2006 qualifying period and being mesmerized by his pace on the wings. I was shocked seeing it in real time.
Evans with the ball at his feet was as deceptive as they come. And so I stand by that just in terms of purely what somebody could do with the ball at their feet, running at full speed. I don't think many came better than Evans Wise. Again, better and more effective are two different things, which is I try to point out the man.
Nice, very interesting choice. And also, some knowledge for the younger viewers out there who may not know about Evans Wise, but now they will, because we're speaking about him right now. So, the next question, Lawrence.
Last one here. From Amiel Mohammed, he wants to know, do you have an opinion or have you heard about racism in football in Trinidad and Tobago, where the roles may be reversed, where white and Indian players may be marginalized?
I'll answer this as it was asked as a double-barreled question. I have heard about it, but I don't have an opinion on it because I simply haven't spent enough time in Trinidad and Tobago over recent years. In my early years growing up, I guess I was ignorant to the issue and wasn't able to appreciate some of the intricacies around racism and in particular how maybe it affects white and players of East Indian origin in Trinidad and Tobago. So wasn't able to appreciate it. I'm not trying to use this as an excuse. I'm simply stating I was too young and far too ignorant to fully appreciate it. And then in my adult years, when I was able to recognize it for myself because of my own experiences in the US and in England, I just didn't spend enough time in Trinidad and Tobago at every level of football. When I did come home, it was with the senior team. And I just assumed that those players were the best players that Trinidad and Tobago had to offer. I took that for granted. So though, I may have heard accusations and read of different accusations in the press. It's not of a first-hand knowledge or experience, so I'd prefer not to express an opinion on those, because all I'll be doing is repeating somebody else's opinion, which I try not to do.
Of course, and that is a very responsible way to answer a question like that, because a lot of people don't know, the foundation Show Racism, the Red Card, you're actually the founder of...
Correct. I'm the founding patron and continue to serve as honorary president.
So Shaka is probably one of the best people to ask, questions along those lines, and you all could check that out. We'll put a link in the description below as well. I discovered that organization years ago before I got into media and so on, not knowing that Shaka Hislop was one of the founders. I just loved the concept, not knowing that a fellow Trinidadian, was one of the classic founders, until I started to dig a little bit more and realized Shaka was one of those guys. A wonderful organization, and also it's a good testament to you as a person for having an organization such as that.
Thank you very much.
Yep, and just to put my 2 cents on the topic, it's a lot of people speak. It's a very touchy subject, and oftentimes in the social media world that we live in, a lot of people, make unsanctioned comments, to repeat things. And it's very risky and dangerous sometimes, some of the irresponsible statements that go around. And if a lot of people approach this topic like how you did from a responsible manner, that would probably help the process a lot more.
Listen, I think it's a topic that we need to have discussions around. I don't think anything can or ever will be solved on social media. I also think that we've got into an era when we discuss sensitive topics, it's one thing or the next. And people don't spend enough time just trying to listen to what the other side is trying to say, the points they're trying to make, and in particular, speak and empathize with those who are affected by issues such as racism. It's a needed discussion, but one, again, just kind of given the polarizing nature of all our conversations, is not one to be had, certainly on social media or in that polarizing way.
Yep, and even by us having this discussion, it inadvertently brings about change, because now the topic is now there, and people who probably would have been afraid to speak will now have an avenue to reach out to. And this is one of the wonderful things about doing things the right way. Because oftentimes,
I open this up to any of your viewers or listeners on here. If I'm in Trinidad and Tobago and you are of East Indian descent and you have experiences of racism around football, I'd welcome the opportunity to sit and speak with you about it. I am ignorant of the issue, and that ignorance is my own fault. So I welcome the opportunity to have those discussions, meaningful discussions. Not, please don't just come and regurgitate some idiocy that you show on social media.
Yeah, and that goes out to everyone out there. It's one of the ugly aspects of our society, but the naive side of me wants that eventually one day we may live in a world where it doesn't exist, and you have to even if it sounds like a far-fetched dream, you have to start somewhere, and change begins with us. That's what I always say.
Absolutely. I think that recognizing of your naivety and willingness to dream is what ultimately moves us all forward.
Yes. So with that being said, we actually we got a question straight to my WhatsApp he's asking if he, meaning Shaka, if he can please run for the president of the Trinidad Tobago Football Association and help Trinidad Tobago football.
Listen, I continue to say I'll play whatever role that Trinidad Tobago football asks me to play, and I'm able to play. I do believe, though, that to be the president of the Trinidad Tobago Football Association, you have to be on the ground in Trinidad Tobago. I don't think it's something that I or anybody else can do from abroad.
Yep, it's not an easy task to administrate, such a position.
Nope.
But I wouldn't know, and I didn't do it, so fair enough. So with that being said, that unfortunately we ran out of time. We actually have lots and lots of questions, and hopefully we'll have some more episodes in future where we can actually answer some of those questions.
I'm sure.
So once again, it's always a pleasure, Shaka. You've always been a heavy supporter of Extra Time TV and our projects. So we're very grateful for you for that.
You're very welcome. It's always good fun.
All right. So We continue to have more discussions like this on our new segment called EXTV Live, and also we have a lot of fun segments. We have our e-gaming section, the Shot Power Challenge, lots and lots of content. Kevin and I discuss pretty much everything concerning football. So you have lots to look forward to. Be sure to like and subscribe, because when you do that, you automatically qualify for a chance to win a copy of FIFA 19. Just ask Stanely Steeple. You'll be collecting his prize soon. So with that being said, stay tuned. We'll be here with some more. Thanks for watching. If you want to check out more, look at this video. And don't forget to click the subscribe button, because when you do, one of your enemies will be destroyed.